those people who might use foreigners as an scapegoat should know this, and this will help them to understand that foreigners actually willingly benefit Britain in a massive way. Well, I'm interested in history, so I used to go to museums and exhibitions, and once you do that, you discover that Britain has treasures worth trillions in antiquities, and the value they put on the civilization that created those treasures, in an unbiased atmosphere. And then you leave that space and you're met with barrage of literally hateful propaganda. If your heritage is Islamic, like mine is. I remembered the media, clash of civilization. These refugees will lay the country to waste, they will cost us this and that. And the little boy that washed up on the tide, it was very sad. And it seemed to me crazy, the affection for the civilization in terms of treasures and things, but loathing for refugees trapped between borders. So I kind of wondered, what if all these priceless and beautiful things were living, breathing people? How would we treat them, and what value would we put on these if they were in the form of living beings? So this painting came out of that, and it's called If Things Were Immigrants, Migrants or Refugees, We'd Have None of Them. Well, this whole thing is addressed to xenophobes and racists, and compatriots of Tutankhamun would have been intercepted by coast guards and redirected back to sea. No entry for old dead guys like you. Boats laden with big Hawa Hakanana and Mine Eagle, Benin bronzes with their little ones, would sadly have graced the headlines if they washed up face down on the tide, lifeless and dead. Dispense with safety for things called migrants and refugees. For Pakistani objects of Indus Valley, on the good day would surely receive a friendly smile, but on the worst day they may find themselves recipients of stronger stuff in surround sound. Paki, ISIS, Muslimic. Mesopotamian Assyrians, Nimrods must endure the resonance of this vibe. Clash of civilizations. These Syrians don't have our values. British Museum Natural History Victoria and Albert would be called immigration detention centres. It's costing us millions to house these immigrants and refugees, they would say. Deport Nanny's tablet and his message. He is complaining and ungrateful. Boot out the billionaires that built the Shard and take back 300 billion. Jabbar al-Tahini. Check out the Brazilian behind the gherkin while you're at it. If diamonds, Tanzanite and his brother Kohinoor, along with pearls and gold, were immigrants, they would be housed with the Queen but queuing at the Home Office. Lifeless objects would shed no tears, though they be called migrants or refugees. Now let's look at some living treasures. I've sketched Anish Kapoor. He was born in Mumbai and he designed the Olympic Tower that I also sketched. The right hand side shows Zaha Hadid, born in Iraq, She is the architect of the beautiful London Aquatic Centre that was used as swimming pool in the Olympics. Top right of the drawing, you see a refugee and an immigrant, two super brilliant minds, Karl Marx and T.S. Eliot. Yes, capitalist, Karl Marx did change the world. Remains of the Day was, this book was also made into a TV series as well. And it was written by Sir Kazuo Ishigari. He was born in Nagasaki after it was destroyed by, nuclear bombs. So he was a refugee, and he put English quintessentialism on the map. Mo Farah, born in Somalia, won Britain multiple Olympic medals. The father of psychology, Sigmund Freud, was Eastern European. Zelig Isagonis was the designer of the Mini in the 1960s. No, not the skirt, the car. Steve Jobs, the Apple inventor, was a son of a Syrian refugee, and his invention paid to Britain 136 million in tax last year. Finally, the biggest sacrifice for Britain was made by a Muslim princess of Mysore. The British killed her grandfather Tipu Sultan in colonial times and annexed his kingdom to their colonial empire, India. Her father escaped and grew up and married an American. At any rate, she ended up in Britain during the Second World War. She was called up into the army, and as a pacifist, she could not use weaponry. Hence, she was sent to spy on the Nazis in France. She was caught, tortured, and killed, and she was totally forgotten until recently.